Thanks for clicking on the webcast. I'm Laura Queso. Here's the latest from WENY TV News and the Star-Gazette. Well, it's budget season and area school district leaders are just starting to realize how bad the cuts could be this year. So just how big is the budget deficit for the Horsehead School District? Well, Superintendent Ralph Marino says his district is facing an $8.2 million budget gap. Marino says that pension costs have gone up 35%. In addition to rising health care costs, state aid is projected to only increase a little over 1%, and the district doesn't expect many retirements. Now options include offering retirement incentives or resignation incentives to teachers, using $4 million in reserves, and then increasing the tax levy by 6.5%.
I have children in the system. I have a daughter that graduated 2 years ago. I have two boys that are in. This is very, very difficult work to do. You know, we'll get through it, but it's going to be very challenging, and you know, it's going to look very different.
Some unsettling news this morning. More than 200 patients of Guthrie Hospital are being told they may have been exposed to infectious diseases, including hepatitis and HIV. Guthrie health officials say an investigation found a former nurse did not follow protocol and reused single-use saline syringes to flush IV tubing between October 15th of last year and January 29th of this year. The alerted patients are being asked to call an 800 number and set up an appointment for precautionary testing. Hospital officials say the risk of infection is low, but there is possibility patients were exposed to hepatitis B or C or even HIV. The single-use saline syringes do not use a needle. They're used to flush IV tubing before and after a medication is used in an IV. Then they're supposed to be tossed out.
We feel the risk is very low based on both the design of the flush and the fact that we've documented, we can't document that there'd ever been cross-use with another patient. Just the potential for that makes us be very cautious and safe for the patients and to recommend testing.
With weather conditions expected to have a major impact this weekend, you want to make sure you're safe, especially on those roads. WENY TV's Candace Cole joins us in the studio this morning with some driving tips you might not normally think of, or at least I didn't. Candace.
Good morning, Laura. Now, the roads are expected to be really bad this weekend, with snowfall reaching up to an incredible 36 inches in some areas like downstate. So ideally, if you don't have to go out, then don't. But if you must take to the roads, you'll want to listen up. With Snowmageddon on the horizon, it's probably not the best idea to take a road trip right now. But if you absolutely must get out, here are some helpful tips to make sure you arrive alive. For starters, never warm up your car in an enclosed area. Make sure your tires are fully inflated and never mix radial tires with other tire types. Be sure to keep your gas tank at least half full, that way your gas lines don't freeze up. And try to avoid using your parking brake in snowy weather. AAA also says don't use cruise control while driving on slippery surfaces. If you're traveling long distances this weekend and happen to get stuck, they say stay inside the car. Not only will it keep you safe, but it will also make it easier for rescuers to find you. You also want to make sure your exhaust pipe isn't blocked with snow or mud. And finally, perhaps the best advice, AAA says just stay home. And here's another tip. If you don't have sand or any bags of salt, AAA says keep a bag of kitty litter. That works just as well. For more safety tips, visit the WENY website and click on the Useful Links tab. Reporting live in the studio, Candace Cole, WENY TV News.
All right, kitty litter, who would have thought? All right, more on that storm right now from meteorologist John Hickey. Let's send it over to him with a look at the forecast. John.
Thanks, Laura. We're looking at a high-impact weather event, that's for sure. Winter storm warnings already been posted by the National Weather Service. Actually, those they were posted yesterday, officially going into effect at noontime today, continuing until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. But here's the deal. We're in a morning lull. Not a lot going to happen out there in the morning hours or really even into the early afternoon. Just a very light rain-snow mix happening by then. But then the heaviest snow will begin tonight. Looks like that starts anytime after about 5 or 6 o'clock, and then the heaviest snow probably wrapping up by about 11. So that's your window of seeing some very heavy snowfall. Inch-an-hour snowfall rates are achievable during that time period. As the storm winds out of here on Saturday, we'll see some windy conditions on the backside as high pressure builds in. We'll see some sunshine, but we'll see some colder temperatures and wind gusts, creating wind chill factors probably in the single digits and teens, even during the daylight hours on Saturday, with some cold temperatures at night expected. So here are your winter storm warnings. They go into effect at noontime today, continue until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. But again, the worst of it is from late this afternoon into the probably midnight hours, probably the absolute worst of the storm.
Inside Home
Here's
and
how we time it
Hospice
out for
Care
you
of
on
Rhode
Future
Island,
Track.
you'll
We're gonna
find
kinda
volunteer
close the
Don
gap here. We
Lafleur.
have two
He knows how
separate,
important the
distinct
last
systems
days of life
that
can
merge
be
together into
after
one,
a third
and
stroke.
that's
His
the
mother
time
was
period
nearing
when
the
we're
end
gonna
of her
see the
life.
heaviest amount of snowfall. So in the morning, while they're still separate, we're still fine.
Don and his siblings
Perhaps a little
decided to
light rain,
transfer
snow
her
mix.
to an
This is
inpatient
noontime here.
hospice.
But watch what happens when it
Dr.
pauses
Joan
for you
Tenno of
again
Brown
going into
University
your
and
afternoon.
co-authors examined records of more than 800,000 fee-for-service Medicare patients who died in the years 2000, 2005, and 2009.
Heavy snowfall with this storm.
Don's hospice experience also helped him and his wife embrace hospice
We're going to
care
pause this again
after
for you
she
at 10.
became
Still seeing
terminally
that
ill.
band of snow through the tiers. So
I'm
it's
Laura
entirely
Queso with
possible
your
an inch an
Family
hour
Health Report.
of snow for up to about 6 hours or so. That's why we have some pretty hefty snowfall totals to share with you. As we go into your Saturday, though, we'll start to see some improvement. High pressure moves in. We'll have windy conditions, but at least we have the sunshine. It's going to be very cold Saturday night, though. Temperatures probably in the single digits below zero. We wake up on Sunday, we're going to see more improvement. Sunshine, and then temperatures actually coming up into the upper 30s to near 40 degrees by the afternoon. All told, this is what we're expecting. Now, we adjusted this down a little bit from what you may have seen on the 11 o'clock news last night. Looking for a widespread 5 to 8 inches. Those 5, 6-inch amounts likely down in some of the valley areas. It's going to take a while for the snow to begin to pile up. You get into the higher terrain, though, especially across northern Steuben County as well as across the Finger Lakes, probably closer to that 8-inch amount and maybe even a little bit more. Wouldn't be surprised if we get a couple of isolated totals closing in on 10 inches, but 10 inches would be the exception, not the rule, and confined to the higher elevations. Interactive Sky Tracker 7-day forecast goes this way. Temperatures actually warming up as we get into next week, but then a little bit of a cool down by midweek. Laura?
All right, thank you, John. For the latest news, weather, and sports, be sure to watch WENY TV News in high definition. That's at 5:30, 6, and 11. And don't forget to pick up a copy of today's Star Gazette. I'm Laura Queso. Have a great day, a great weekend, and stay safe on those roads.